sir. I just want to say thank you for always being honest. I find thank you very much. Hey guys, I will just wait a second, see if anyone else is hopping on. I'm just playing with my lighting. I think that looks okay. Lots is happening today, or this week, just in general. Lots and lots of stuff is happening. Thank you all for joining. I'll go ahead and get started. I wanted to, well, I'll wait just a minute, see if anyone else pops on. Yes, I know I'm live. Thank you very much. How was everybody's weekend? Hope it was fabulous. Okay, I think we have enough now. Thank you very much for being here. I wanted to say before we get started, so I'm finally, hello, good to see you. Hi, Hamburger and a Shake. It's good to see you as well. But I wanted to let you all know that I'm going to have a schedule. I'll write it at the top of my page on my homepage. But I do have a schedule now. I'm finally settled enough where I can do that. Hi from Canada. So my schedule is going to be, I'm going to be live every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Today, hi Ken. Today was a little bit later. I had something going on this morning, but Monday through Friday, I will be live every single day at 11 a.m. to chat, talk about what's going on. Yay, I'm glad you got the notification. So Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. I will be live, and then I'll be doing one night in the middle of the week that I'll go at 8 p.m. and I'll announce that earlier in the week so you'll always know what it is. But that will be the official schedule. I'm finally settled enough to where I can do that. I'm very excited. So there's that. I'm going to write it at the top of my page so everyone knows. Hi, Mike. How are you? There's so much to talk about today. There's 2 trials going on. Hello from Kentucky. Hi, Kentucky. So we have 2 trials going on. Jack Dorsey just announced that he's stepping down from Twitter. So a lot of people have opinions about that. And I also what else was I going to talk to you about? Ghislaine Maxwell Jussie Smullet. Twitter. Hi, how are you? Oh yes, and then I wanted to talk about at the very end. So we've been talking about the Kyle Rittenhouse case, and he goes to ASU, Arizona State University, and he takes online classes. Well, there are students, even though he takes online classes, there are students at ASU that are trying to get him kicked out of school. So we'll talk about that last. But let's get right into it. Today is the start of the Ghislaine Maxwell case. And if you don't know who she is the one named co-conspirator with Jeffrey Epstein. So this is the Sarah News Network. So this is a huge deal, a very high profile case, probably one of the more important cases of my lifetime. Ghislaine and Jussie Smollett. Yes, that's exactly what it is. But let's look in. I pulled up this article so we just kind of know where to start because I'm going to stay on top of this. This particular case is not going to be televised. It's only available via audio. No cameras allowed in this Smollett. I keep calling him Smollett. No cameras allowed in the Smollett trial. Yes, no cameras allowed in that trial also. So I believe that one is also just audio only. But I'm going to stay on top of these things and follow them, see what's going on. So let's read. I found this article. It's Ghislaine Maxwell trial begins today. What you need to know. So we'll just go through the basics and then follow it as it goes along. Hey, Special K. So it says Ghislaine Maxwell, the British socialite who is accused of serving as a madam to convicted Jeffrey Epstein and procuring him underage girls for you know what, and that is starting today. So this is what she's facing. Hi, James. You're welcome. So, if she's convicted on all the counts, the maximum sentence for her could be 70 years in prison. And she's 59 years old. So, this will be for the rest of her life. She has pleaded not guilty on a 6-count indictment against her and is being held in a New York jail, sometimes referred to as a hellhole to some people. As the day blah, blah, blah. Maxwell allegedly believes that Epstein was unalived in prison and that she could be a target. So she thinks that someone was responsible for Epstein being unalived, and she is in fear that the same thing is going to happen to her. I do know that family members tried to get her out. Family members are also, or one family member in particular. Oh, hi, Gary. I'm so glad you're here. So one family member in particular is saying that Ghislaine is being demonized, that she's being a scapegoat because Epstein isn't here to put all of these charges on. He's saying that Ghislaine is being a scapegoat. I personally think that that is a bit of a cop-out. But again, they're in court, so we'll see what happens. So she pleaded not guilty on the 6-count indictment. A federal judge denied her bail, so she had to be held in prison. She's been in prison this whole time. How long has she been in prison? July 2nd. So she's been in prison since July 2nd, awaiting trial. She was denied bail. So in August 2020, by the way, there is a really good documentary on Netflix. If you don't know the ins and the outs of all of the allegations against Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine, I would highly recommend watching this documentary. I know a lot of people don't like Netflix, but this one was actually really good. It was really detailed, and it really helped me understand what was going on. So if you have questions about what happened or don't really understand the ins and the outs of this whole situation, I highly recommend watching that documentary. So in August of 2020, 8 women saying they were victims of Epstein detailed their alleged encounters with him on a Lifetime documentary titled Surviving Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so that one's probably, there is one on Netflix, but here's another one on Lifetime called Surviving Jeffrey Epstein. One of the alleged victims recalled Maxwell showing her how to give Epstein a massage, which she says quickly turned into other things. Maxwell faces 6 counts for allegedly recruiting, befriending women so that they would, basically what Ghislaine did, she was a co-conspirator, so she would find these girls, allegedly, you guys, this is what she's being accused of. So she would find these girls, recruit them, befriend them, like take them shopping, shower them with shopping and traveling, and basically set the scene up to earn their trust and would make it easy for Jeffrey Epstein to do what he did. That's what she's being accused of. It is unknown if Maxwell will take the stand, so we don't know if she's going to be on the stand or not, defending herself. But NPR laid out what her lawyers are expected to say in her defense. The defense is expected to argue that there is no way Maxwell can get a fair trial, that she is, in essence, being tried for Epstein's crimes. That is what I just told you. They are going to say that she is basically the scapegoat here because Epstein is no longer with us, and there's no one else to charge for his crimes. Crimes that he has already been found guilty in the court of public opinion. Meanwhile, prosecutors will likely explain the charges against her without exaggerating or overperforming, said former Assistant U.S. Attorney experienced trial lawyer Gene Rossi. I expect them to be very cautious but firm, strategic but not inflammatory. They will underpromise yet overperform at trial. The charges themselves speak volumes. Anytime you have underage things happening that charges alone inflames passions of biases in any jury. And that's actually true anytime there's a crime against children. Even I've heard this also in prisons. Other inmates really don't like it. It does. It makes people very passionate and very protective and very emotional. Maxwell was born in France and is the daughter of a media mogul, Robert Maxwell, who died in mysterious circumstances in 1991. All right. The new allegations were filed against Epstein's estate at the U.S. District Court of Southern District of Florida, according to the Telegraph. The woman accuses the couple in a civil lawsuit of very, very bad things: physical attacks, emotional distress, blackmail, intimidation, fraud, deceit, and misrepresentation. So there's a long list of stuff going on there. After meeting the pair, she says Maxwell began an extended effort of persuasion and getting her to trust her. So that is what is going on there. I mean, I do understand how this would be difficult to find a jury that has not heard about this case or knows anything about it. But wouldn't that be the same for George Floyd? Wouldn't it be the same for Kyle Rittenhouse? These were such publicized cases, and so many people were very passionate, and they were such polarizing cases that I would think that argument would be true for those trials as well. And those trials continued to happen, and both had very different outcomes. So it seemed to be in the Kyle Rittenhouse case, if you just paid attention to the mainstream media, the jury would have had a very strong bias against Kyle Rittenhouse, but they came through, they gave the fair judgment in that case. And with the George Floyd case, I don't know, it's up in there. Some people don't think that was a fair verdict. Some people think it was, but that's just what happens when something is incredibly high profile. But I think lunchtime news with Sarah. Hi. Yes, lunchtime news. Yeah. I hope Hillary is crapping her pantsuit. Oh, and that her pantsuit. That's another thing too. We had a list of people that was released from the courts. So you can sort of understand now. A lot of people are talking about how this case isn't getting the same media attention as, for instance, the Kyle Rittenhouse case, or for instance, the George Floyd case. That was all that we heard about. And like I said before, I would argue that this is one of the biggest cases of my lifetime, just because of who is involved and all of the high profile influential people that are involved in this. And you would think that the media would be absolutely obsessed with this story. If it was an honest media, this is all they would be talking about, because of everyone that is involved and because of how massive this was and the people that were and the victims in this entire thing. But you don't hear about it. And when you look at some of these documents that are released from the court, for instance, a new list of defendants, a new list if you look at the flight logs, if you look at who Jeffrey Epstein was friends with, there's a lot of very high profile people in the media. So it makes perfect sense when you think about it like that, how they don't want to cover it as much and how they sort of want to sweep it under the rug and pay attention to other things. So that's really all we know so far. It's just getting started. She faces 70 years in prison. They're arguing that she is the scapegoat for Epstein because he is not alive to get all of those charges. They're also arguing that in the court of public opinion, he is already guilty. So that's their argument, and we'll stay up to date with this and see exactly what is happening. Man can solve the world's problems. Okay. Too many that went to the island, they don't want to crap where they eat. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the list of people is pretty crazy. I will say this. I will say, now a lot of people try to use, like if someone was at an event and took a picture with Epstein, and I saw someone just did this to Kamala Harris earlier today, and although I do not like Kamala Harris at all, I don't like it when people try to use one picture at an event to say, ooh, look at you, because you could just be in an event being polite and taking a picture with someone. I've done that I don't know how many times, and I really don't know the person or know that much about them. So I don't like it when people do that, even though I really don't like Kamala Harris. And maybe there's more to it. Maybe she's guilty as all sin. I don't know. But just be careful of that, because people try to do that. let's talk about Jussie Smollett, Jussie Smollett. I've been saying his name wrong ever since I watched the Dave Chappelle special, and now that's just ingrained in my brain, and now I cannot say his name correctly. So if I'm super annoying and say his name wrong a lot, it's all Dave Chappelle's fault. Kamala, toe loser in the primaries, then appointed to VP. Yeah, and I don't like Kamala at all, but I just don't like it when people use one thing and then, because I think that makes you, like, especially when you're on the right and people already try to say that you are a conspiracy theorist and a Fremont. It's like, have Jussie Smollett. That's what I keep saying. You said it right the first time around. Okay, so his trial started today too, which I was surprised about. I just read about this yesterday. You can say Jesse's name wrong. It wouldn't bother me. Those comments are pretty funny. So, yeah, he started today too. I blame Chappelle too, Jussie Smollett. That was one of the most brilliant pieces of comedy where he was talking about this whole case. That was one of my favorite Dave Chappelle specials of all time. Sticks and Stones, Dave Chappelle. If you haven't watched it, it's awesome. It's my favorite. So anywho, this alleged attack on him happened 3 years ago, and it's just now going to trial. And it's crazy that it's on the same day as Ghislaine Maxwell. This is another one that the media isn't really covering as much as I thought that they would. And this is another one where cameras are not allowed in the courtroom. You can only get the audio of this, but let's just go back and see what's going on and see what he's being charged with, and I'll tell you what I think about everything. So his trial begins today. Jussie is a D-list actor in Hollywood. He was on a show called Empire. He's actually a really talented singer. I think he did some other things too. A really good singer. But a D-list actor. I didn't know who he was before any of this happened. I don't think most people did know who he was before any of this happened. But basically what had happened was he alleged that he was the victim of a homophobic, racist attack in Chicago. And the whole scenario that he said that happened was he was in Chicago in the middle of January. Am I correct? Yeah, January in Chicago, which keep in mind the temperature in Chicago in the middle of the night in January. Okay, so this alleged attack happened at 2 a.m. in Chicago in the middle of January. He says he left the place that he was staying to go to Subway to get a sandwich. And as he was returning, this is what happened. He said men struck him, wrapped a noose around his neck, and shouted, "This is MAGA country." Okay, now keep in mind, this is Chicago. Chicago isn't exactly MAGA country. If there is a MAGA country, it is definitely not downtown Chicago at 2 a.m. in the morning. So I'm trying to remember what he said happened. He said they poured bleach on him, and they put a noose around his neck. So he went home, he called the police, and there was actually a video of when the police showed up, and they appeared to be really suspicious as soon as they got there. And he still had the rope tied around his neck. So it says here, the actor is facing charges for So anyway, this happened. The media ran with it. This is just more proof that we are a nation with very serious problems when it comes to race. Everyone ran with it, and then the holes started coming up in the case, and police started to suspect that this was a fake attack that was actually staged by Jussie himself. And the justification for this is a lot of people are saying he was trying to earn more money in his acting career. So he was trying to get more clout for his acting career. And another part, and the reason why I mentioned that he's a D-list actor, is because he's claiming that these two Trump supporters just saw him in the middle of the night. By the way, they just happened to be walking around in Chicago at 2 a.m. with bleach and a noose. They just happen to be doing that. But they recognized him in the middle of the night. First of all, I don't know anyone that watched Empire. I never watched Empire. And he's a D-list actor, and it's in the middle of the night. It's hard to believe that somebody would recognize him. I used to live in Hollywood, and there's so many actors. Hi, Northeast Ohio. There's so many actors. There's so many people on TV shows. You could be sitting next to someone that is a TV show that you watch, and you just wouldn't know. There's so many TV shows out there. It's hard for me to believe that someone would recognize him in the middle of the night. And know his sexual orientation on top of that. So let's see. Just weeks after the alleged attack, Smollett was charged with staging the attack to further his career and secure a higher salary. Police said he hired two brothers to pretend to attack him for $3,500, and he wrote a check. If you're going to hire someone to commit a crime, maybe don't write a check. Maybe just pay them in cash. Just saying. Smollett faces 6 counts of disorderly conduct, a class 4 felony, which carries a sentence of up to 3 years in prison, but experts believe if Smollett is convinced, he would most likely be placed on probation. Oh, I'm sorry. If Smollett is convicted, he would most likely be placed on probation, and a lot of that has to do with he doesn't have any former criminal history. And I don't know, I know a lot of people were saying he should be in jail, that's a hate crime. I don't know if he should be in jail for that, but I for sure think that there should be some sort of financial consequence. I don't know if you can sentence a financial consequence in on a trial like this. Maybe there needs to be some sort of civil suit. I'm not sure how that goes. Let me know if you guys know. But I really do think that there should be some kind of monetary consequence, because he took up resources. And this is Chicago. Chicago is a very dangerous city with a super high crime rate, tons of shootings, and police are already understaffed, and they had to use their resources to go hang out with him and his alleged story. So I think there should be some kind of monetary punishment. I don't know if you can do that in this sort of trial, maybe a civil suit. I don't know. Smollett walked into the courthouse today, flanked by family members and attorneys. The jury selection began at 9:30 a.m., so they're doing that today. What you have to do is find a jury that can say, honestly, it can be a fair dispute. Okay, we already know that. So jury selections by the way, he's pleading. Absolutely, Sarah, there should be. Yeah, because, I mean, I don't know if there should be jail for this, but he took up resources. I think the detectives spent time on this. A lot of people spent time on this when those officers could have been somewhere else. There could have been emergencies that they could have responded to a lot quicker all around the city. I will say this. I do know, hold on. I do know, for instance, I don't know. Okay, so it's the same as like pulling a firearm, or a fire alarm, excuse me. So if you pull a fire alarm and you do it knowingly or knowing that there's no fire and there's a false alarm and firefighters come, that's punishable too. So it's a misdemeanor. Okay, so this offense is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail and or up to $1,000 in criminal fines. So maybe he would get criminal fines. I would be cool with that. And I think that's fair, because these are taxpayer resources in a very dangerous city where these police officers could have been better using their time for a million different things rather than entertaining this fantasy or hoax or whatever. And clearly he's pleading not guilty on these charges. So we'll see what happens with that. They're in jury selection right now. Hi, Keith. The whole lot of community service and probation, maybe a fine. I don't care. Yeah, being a false witness, justice will find Jussie eventually. Yeah, it's funny because I mentioned this on my TikTok earlier, and I had a few people that were like, Put him in prison. I just hope he catches a felony. We have to deter false accusers like Smollett. Yeah, exactly. Not just that too, but the social implications of this as well. We are such a polarized and racially charged country right now, and there's so much propaganda, and a story like this just further fuels that anger and is just really bad for the social fabric of this country, besides the fact of the resources that you're taking up and potentially putting other people in danger or lengthening the amount of time services get to them because of your little play that you're putting on or whatever it is that you're doing. Paid him in a check. I even know better than that. So we'll keep up with that. That's all we know so far about his case. Jury selection is today. We'll see what happens. I cannot believe that this took 3 years. Me Too, defund the police, all false accuser movements. Hold on, there's one more thing I wanted to look up with this. Oh, this is interesting. So do you remember Kim Foxx? She was the state attorney that, what did she do? Hold on, I'm pulling this story up. So the judge, okay, this is interesting. So Jussie Smollett, his attorneys will not be able to call State Attorney Kim Foxx or her top assistant to the stand at the actor's eventual trial, nor will attorneys be allowed to mention the various lawsuits that have swirled around this case, a Cook County judge ruled Thursday. However, they will be able to tell jurors about the guns, including the AR-15s, that were found after police searched the home of key witnesses for the brothers. So those are the brothers that he hired, one of whom has a felony conviction. Oh, there's more to this than a... So Kim Foxx, she was the state attorney that really, before we had any information, she was the state attorney that really tried to protect Jussie and tried to hide stuff. So this is why she's not, there was a lot of political motivation with this case and a lot of people that were trying to protect him before all the information came out, when it was very clear, like to me, if I'm just looking at all of this on surface, it's very clear that this was fake, in my opinion. Smollett found himself at the center of an international firestorm in early 2019 after he allegedly orchestrated the phony hate crime on himself with the help of the brothers. Cook County prosecutors initially charged him with disorderly conduct, then abruptly dropped the charges outright about a month later with little explanation. So this is what happened with Kim Foxx. He originally had these charges because it appeared to be very clear to individuals that this was a false hate crime. So he had charges, and then out of nowhere, they were dropped without explanation, and now he's being charged again. So that is what happened. That is why the state attorney, Kim Foxx, is not allowed to be a witness on the stand. That's what happened. It was so long ago. Al Sharpton gonna slither his way into Juicy. Probably. Okay, now we'll just talk about Jack Dorsey really quick. This is really interesting. Another thing that happened this morning was that Jack Dorsey stepped down as Twitter's CEO. And he wrote, I'll read you just a little bit of his statement. He already has his replacement. And unfortunately, it appears to be an individual that is way more progressive than he is. So a lot of people are hinting around. This is clearly still developing, so we still don't know. But a lot of people are hinting that Twitter is going to get even less freedom of speech than it already is. So let's see. Yeah, Dorsey earlier this morning said that he was stepping down. He said, there's a lot of talk about the importance of a company being founder-led. Ultimately, I believe that's severely limiting and a single point of failure. I've worked hard to ensure this company can break away from its founding and founders. So he's making changes. So Jack Dorsey should have resigned 5 years ago. Well, I agree with you there, but I have a feeling it might get even a little bit more progressive, but we'll see what happens. What is this guy's last name? So he named the new CEO. It's Parag. So the new CEO is, let's see, Parag Agrawal. I'm sorry if I'm Parag Agrawal, who said earlier today, deep gratitude for Jack and our entire team and so much excitement for the future. Here's the note I sent to the company. Thank you all for your trust and support. So he just sent a nice note saying, thank you. But some tweets of his have surfaced in the past where he made an analogy that he made a very leftist analogy. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't even want to say it on here. But this, again, is something ongoing. So we'll see what happens with Twitter. A lot of people have their ideas about why this is happening. A lot of people think that this is happening to heed way for Twitter to become even more woke ahead of 2022. So we'll see about that. Sager, oh, this is what I wanted to show you. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is the tweet they pulled up of his this is from 2010. So it is a long time ago, but I'll just read it for you. And this is a quote he was just saying from somebody else. He says, if they are not going to make a distinction between Muslim and extremists, then why should I distinguish between white people and racists? So that's the new Twitter CEO. Granted, this was 10 years ago, so I do have to say that. But if we're playing by the same rules, thank you so much for that donation. I can't read what it says. Hold on. Boom. Keep being you, fam. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So that's the new Twitter CEO, okay? That was a long time ago, but a lot of people are actually saying that he is going to be even more progressive than Jack Dorsey, and a lot of people are salty army in the house. Hi, I like you guys. You're fun. I like salty people, I like salty army, and I like the hog family. Both awesome people. And I like my people too. Great people as well. Okay, so do you guys know who Sagar is from? He used to be on The Hill. But he's a commentator. He's pretty center, so I like his point of view on a lot of things. But he said, Jack, this is what he's saying. So a lot of people have different opinions about this. Like what I said, hangover gang for life. Yes. Jack was one of the last tech CEOs who, at least on a personal level, was committed to free speech. A lot of people are saying this. They're saying, he gets dragged, of course, because we know Twitter banned former President Donald Trump. Twitter bans a lot of people, but other people are also saying he did that at the pressure of other people in the company, and that he was somebody that was really on a personal level inside of the company, that he was actually very pro freedom of speech, which was kind of surprising to me too. But I want to read you what Sagar said. So Sagar says he was formerly on The Hill, has another show with, I cannot remember her name right now. If you know it, just tell me. But he has a great show. And he's a great commentator. I like him a lot. So he says, Jack was the last of the tech CEOs who, at least on a personal level, was committed to free speech. His departure is probably going to make Twitter a lot worse for censorship, which is truly saying something. And then he retweeted this. So it says, former CTO and new Twitter CEO Agrawal, I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right, I'll pronounce that correctly, in November 2020 interview, our role is not to be bound by the First Amendment, focusing less on thinking about free speech, but thinking about how the times have changed. Whoa, let me say that again. So this is the new, so we thought we had it bad before, and Twitter isn't everything, but Twitter was supposed to be a new public square. It was supposed to be, when it was founded, this is what we were told. It was supposed to be a place where you could get away from the media propaganda, and it was supposed to be a place where people could talk directly to their followers, could talk directly to their fans, or talk directly to each other. Yes, Dorsey did ban the president. I know that, but I think this is worse. If you can get any worse. So, all right. Let me read this again. This is from Disclosed TV. Former CTO, Massachusetts for Trump. I was just in Massachusetts. I really like Massachusetts. Former CTO and new Twitter CEO, Agrawal, in November 2020 interview. Our role is not to be bound by the First Amendment, focusing less on thinking about free speech, but thinking about how the times have changed. So there you have it. Again, this is developing. We don't know. I don't like to be doom and gloom, but we'll see what happens with this. And I'm actually looking, I like to look at the comments to see what's happening. And people are even criticizing, because some of you just said it right here, and people are criticizing Sagar for saying that he was free speech. But I will say, I have heard this from several people below him, although yes, we know that the former president was banned. So people are saying, Sagar, it's already bad for censorship. I can't even say something mean to someone without being forced to delete and getting banned for 12 hours. He banned the former president, but yeah, committed to free speech, I guess, LOL. Well, maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay, and then I have one more story. Twitter is communications utility. It's not supposed to be biased. Yeah, which is sad, because if you think about it, you know, I think it's a great concept. Hello. I mean, it's a really good concept to have a platform where, you know, you can speak just in a few words. You can speak directly to your followers, your fans. But, oh, the fam, I see you on Twitter. Okay. So here is, like, phone companies. Hello. Hi, Marsha. How are you? Ukulele rock. I have my ukulele today, so I'll play a little bit before we're done. I have it. Okay. This is rather alarming, and I've seen this at several universities. We've covered Kyle Rittenhouse from the very beginning. We all know what happened. He was found not guilty on all charges. The jury deemed it as self-defense. I've seen all the evidence. The entire thing is on video. In my opinion, it is clear-cut self-defense all the way home. That's why he was innocent on all the charges. Yet people are still upping the propaganda. And kids, college kids, are still believing the propaganda. I watched a video from James Madison University, which James Madison University is in Virginia. It's just a few hours away from where I am. I have a ton of friends that went to James Madison University. I've spent a ton of time on James Madison University. And you know what? Can I just say this to you? When I spent time at JMU, people like my age, I'm not even that old, but that's how quickly things have changed. People my age were not sissies. Go Dukes. Someone said go Dukes. People my age were not sissies. There used to be, you can even look this up on the internet. They used to have, now whenever I see a protest and when there's crowd control, when there's like less lethal uses of crowd control, even though every time I see this, police are like, back up, back up, back up. They don't back up. They get a little spray. They get a little tear gas. And then all of a sudden you see everyone start crying. Why did you do that to me? JMU used to have, I don't know if they still have them. JMU used to have these huge block parties in the spring, and there would be just thousands of kids. There was this huge grassy area that was surrounded by townhomes that were occupied by students. And every spring they had block parties, and the event got so big that you really couldn't control it. Police couldn't control it. No one could control it. So what they would do is they would say, okay, you know what? We're going to allow you to have your block parties, to have your fun, but you have to clear that area and everyone has to go home by 6 p.m. I don't know if it was exactly 6 p.m., but we'll just use that time. You got to go home at 6 p.m., okay? So that was the deal. So it was like, cool. So every year, there would be thousands of kids there drinking, all of that stuff, and then right around 6 p.m., they're like, okay, time to go home. So, of course, you always have the people that are drinking too much that don't want to go home. So they would bring out the riot police. By the way, this was, at the time, I don't know how it is, but this was a mostly white school. They would bring out the riot police, and they would push people back, and they would tear gas people if they didn't leave. And that was how they managed the crowd. No one cried about it. No one complained in the paper. They just kind of, it was what it was. You knew better, you stayed there, and if you didn't move, if you didn't leave the area, you got tear gas. And the reason they did that was because they knew that, and I've seen it there too, they knew that many drunk 20-something-year-olds together that long after 6 p.m., nothing good is going to happen. And they were right. There would be like fights breaking out and all kinds of stuff. But nobody cried about it. Nobody, whatever. I don't mean to bore you with that story, but it's just something I think about sometimes because I was stuck in the middle of the riots in LA, and I would hear what my friends would say, and I see how people react to that now, and I've been watching this coverage all year, and I just can't believe how quickly things have changed. We knew better. We knew if we didn't leave, we knew what was going to happen. And when it did happen, it is what it is. But that's how you controlled a crowd, Would you rather that, or would you rather have a bunch of drunk kids getting in fights and getting arrested? But anywho, just thought I would say that. But okay, so I brought up JMU because I'm gonna talk right now about Arizona State University. But the reason I brought up JMU is because I watched JMU, the official JMU Instagram account, and Google it. I didn't bring that story up for you right now, but if you want to see it, just go ahead and Google it. You can find it online. The official James Madison University Instagram account had a story, an Instagram story that they shared. They did delete it, thankfully, so they realized that they should have deleted it. But it was of a kid talking about the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict and talking about how Kyle Rittenhouse unalived 2 black people, which is not true. The people that were shot in the Kyle Rittenhouse case were white. And this is something that is widely known. It's been widely known from the very beginning, but that's sort of the misinformation that the college itself, the university, was spreading out to their campus. Yes, they deleted it, but it was just unbelievable to me. And again, how we're not teaching people to be responsible for the information that you're putting out there. And what blows my mind is you have this college kid who appeared to be a really nice kid, appeared to be really interested in social issues, and was so passionate about this Kyle Rittenhouse case that he made an Instagram story and talked about it. Yet he didn't know the basic facts of the story. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. It just blows my mind. I talk about a lot of things, but it's because I know about it and I'm passionate about it because I know about it. And that doesn't mean I always get everything right. I make mistakes, but I at least do the work to research what I'm talking about. Again, it doesn't mean I don't make mistakes. It doesn't mean I'm not going to make mistakes in the future, but I at least take the time to research. If this person who posted the video or the person who made the video, if they would have taken 20 seconds to research what actually happened in this case, they would know that what they said was just totally false. Okay, so as you know, Kyle Rittenhouse was found innocent on all the charges. And I don't know if you are aware, but he attends Arizona State University. He does online classes at ASU. And the ASU students are not happy with that. So this says, leftist students at Arizona State University are campaigning to get Kyle Rittenhouse kicked out of his studies, calling him the R word and a bloodthirsty murderer is what they're calling him, even though the teen was acquitted of all of his charges. 4 groups led by Students for Socialism are behind a rally planned for Wednesday to boot Rittenhouse, 18, who revealed that he was an online student at the Tucson school and would like to live a quiet life on campus. Killer off campus is what one flyer reads, calling for the university to protect students from a violent, bloodthirsty murder. A list of 4 demands includes getting the 18-year-old cleared killer withdrawn from ASU, as well as the school to release a statement against white supremacy and the R-word murder Kyle Rittenhouse. It also calls for a multicultural center to be a safe space from, that white privilege. The groups also want police funding instead to go to a multicultural center to get a care healing center. The protest is also backed by Students for Justice in Palestine and Multicultural Solidarity Coalition and the Mexican American Student Group for MECHA, DASU. I don't know what that is. So here's the flyer right here. This is Students for Socialism. Join us and rally against Kyle Rittenhouse being permitted on our campus. By the way, I just want to reiterate, he is an online student, so he actually doesn't go there. Or he takes online classes. Hi, Joe. How are you? The groups can see that Rittenhouse, who said he supports BLM, was cleared of all charges over the triple shooting during riots last year in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The jury agreed that he had been defending himself after getting attacked. It's also on video. But the groups dismiss that as proof of a flawed justice system. It's all on video. Insisting Kyle Rittenhouse is still guilty to his victims and the families of those victims. It's on video. A spokesperson for ASU's Students for Socialism told Foxx that they do not feel safe with a mass shooter being so carelessly allowed at the school. It's on video, and he takes online classes, even if he appears to be just online. The jury's decision to clear Rittenhouse effectively gives right-winged individuals the license to kill other individuals who protest for human rights. And just so we're all clear, I actually I was watching the video because I follow Richie McGinnis, Drew Hernandez, and Elijah Schaefer on Twitter, and those were 3 individuals who were in Kenosha that evening. And before all this happened, I actually watched Hello, WW660, how are you? I actually watched an interview with Kyle when he got there, and he was there giving aid. He was even giving aid to the Black Lives Matter protesters. So he was giving aid to everyone. He didn't really have a side. He was just there protecting things from damage and giving people medical aid. But But it's just wild to me. Like, it still blows my mind. It makes me think that people have other intentions going on, because the truth is out there. It's been out there. He's been acquitted, and people are still pushing their propaganda, and there's a person involved in all of this. In this story, so this is from the New York Post, it says, ASU did not immediately respond to a request for comment early Monday. So they have not responded to any of this. I wonder if James Madison University did. I'm bringing up the James Madison. Kyle strikes me as a very naive guy. He sends, yeah, I think he's just, you know, he's a kid. I think he was very naive about, but of course he is. He's 17. I think he was probably, especially if you are somebody that supports BLM, you're probably a little bit naive to how violent these things can turn, and how if you're someone, even if you're there to support them, if you are not with them and all of their destruction, you are against them and they do not like you. So here's the James Madison University story. James Madison University is in hot water after a student posted a story on the university's Instagram account accusing Kyle Rittenhouse of murdering and taking away 2 beautiful Black lives. The footage came from JMU student, I'm not going to say his name. The video was sent to Virginia congressional candidate and nonprofit founder Tina Ramirez by a JMU alumni. Ramirez said in a tweet containing a screen recording of the JMU's Instagram story, "We can't go to the store. Rest in peace, Trayvon Martin." Wait, The narrative surrounding the Rittenhouse case has been riddled with false conceptions. Anna Kasparian, I don't know how to say her last name, of liberal outlet The Young Turks sought to correct the record on an assumption that she made that Rittenhouse was chasing those. So even Anna said she is with the Young Turks. She even admitted, I do have respect for her for doing this. She admitted on air that she was totally wrong in her initial assumption of Kyle Rittenhouse. Ramirez called JMU's actions unethical for being a publicly funded, whoops. What happened? So Ramirez called this unethical, being that James Madison University is a publicly funded university. Here's what she said. Okay, so JMU, this is unethical because this is a publicly funded university that is now pushing political propaganda and misinformation from their social media accounts. She added that the post pushes false info that could lead to violence. I totally agree with that. James Madison said, James Madison University offers student takeovers on social media platforms as an opportunity for our audiences to learn about student activities and research. A JMU spokesperson told the National Desk. One of those takeovers went into the personal opinion and viewpoints of a student, which are not necessarily reflective of the university. The video expressing this opinion was removed from the university's social media account. So I don't really think it's totally... I think it's good that they brought to light this situation. I think it's good that Ramirez called it out. At least JMU took it down. And this did seem to be one of those things where it was like a takeover of the account. But I do think that if you're going to allow students to take over your account, your official account, you should have somebody monitoring this before it's posted. Sue them all. There was actually a false story going around this weekend that Kyle Rittenhouse was suing Whoopi Goldberg and Jay Behar for $60 million for defamation. And although I'm excited to see if any of these lawsuits come to light, that actually I do not believe that is true. But they were a few of the individuals that pushed this narrative that Kyle Rittenhouse was things that he is in fact not. We have no evidence that Kyle Rittenhouse is any of those things. And if you've watched any interview with Kyle or anything, he just kind of seems like a really sweet kid. Bye, Marcia. Keep hope. Hold them accountable. He should sue Whoopi Goldberg and Joe. I mean, he might, but the story that he's filed right now, I believe, is false. But maybe, I don't know. I don't know who he's going to sue. You know, a lot of the times, this is something I've learned because I've been following the Astroworld thing very carefully, and I've been following Kyle a lot. It's not always that you just go and sue everyone. You can actually, you can sue anyone, but it's who you're going to be able to win a lawsuit against. So you have to take that into consideration before you just start suing everyone. You have to use your time and resources as well. And you want to win for your clients, so you want to go against someone that you are actually going to win against. All right, you all. Well, I think that's everything that I have for you today. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. I was a little bit late today, but I'll be here tomorrow at 11 a.m. I hope to see you. I'll be live at some point this week. I'm thinking Wednesday right now. Am I going to do Wednesday? Yes, you know what? Let's just make it a date. So I'll be... I'll bring out the ukulele. So I'll be every day at 11 a.m. here, and then I will be Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Hold up, I'm just bringing a song up. I might need to tune it a little bit, but we're okay right now. Oh, I did that wrong. This is weird playing from this angle. Hold on. I keep messing up because I don't play this angle very often. Let's see. the virus. There's a weird sound. All right, everybody. I think that's everything. Under the Rainbow. Oh, here, I'll see if I can play that. Hold on. I'll sing for you next time. I didn't warm up my voice, so I don't want to embarrass myself. Under the Rainbow. I don't know that one very well. Hold on, I'll do one more and then I'll go. I'll sing for you next time. I just didn't want to make a fool out of myself today. I can carry a tune, but I have to practice. Otherwise, let's see. Fools Rush In. Do you know the song Only Fools Rush In? I'll play a little bit of that. Only Fools Rush In. Ukulele. Whoever said we're all fools here. I know, all of you are. Fools rush in. No, I can't help falling in love. That's what it is. What's the same thing, right? Can't help falling in love. Oh, I don't know that chord. G7, G7, G7. Hold on one second. G7. So C, G7. Okay, that's a new one for me. New chord. I messed up that one. All right, you all. You can play and sing too, go you. Yes, but I can't sing right now because it's gonna sound really out of tune and I'm embarrassed. Okay, that's enough. Okay, you all. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow if you care to join. If not, that's okay. But if you do, did you learn the uke from Clown College or before? No, I learned it by myself. Every year for New Year's, I try to pick something new to learn. And one year, I just picked something random and new to learn. And one year, it was ukulele. So I just learned it on my own. It's just fun to do. I like to sit around and play it. It's very relaxing. All right, well, I think that's everything. If you guys want to come join tomorrow at 11, I will be here. So I'll see you later. Bring the cats, everybody. I'll bring my cat. Next year, drums. Oh, yes, I do have bongos. Maybe I'll practice those. I haven't practiced those at all. One year, I was supposed to learn the bongos, but I slacked on the bongos tremendously. I'm very ashamed of myself. All right, 11, what time? Oh, Eastern, 11 Eastern time. So I apologize if that's really early for anyone else. But I'm gonna do one 8 p.m., at least one 8 p.m. live stream a week for those people that work and stuff. Okay, bye everybody. I hope you're having a fabulous Monday and I'll see you later. Bye.